Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits here
Tra-la-la.
at the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
Speak
Hey
for
everyone,
yourself, darling.
and Seaside.
Thank you.
You're
I live
welcome.
in Marina.
Marina, yes.
You know, my brother calls it Marineville, which was the setting for a Like a Child's cartoon series in the 1960s called Stingray with Troy Tempest. They lived in Marineville. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, darling.
Hey everyone, this is Liza, and I had a good day. Let's see, coming up next, looking dashing as ever, because if you're looking at the video, you can't see all the holes in her shirt below the screen level. It's Miss Emma.
Hello, darling. Holes in my shirt means hard work or hardly working.
You know it's a loved shirt when you still continue to wear it, even though it has holes.
Well, you know, it's got to the stage now. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I love this shirt.
I have to wear something under it because if I don't, parts of my anatomy fall out and I'd probably get arrested. So I have to wear a shirt underneath before I put this one on.
You're the only person I know who'd get arrested for showing.
For showing what?
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you, and then if you don't mind muting because it's making a lot of noise.
He's rolling boulders around his garage.
It's Jim.
I'm about to put a rear tire on. Hey, peace, love, and soul, protect your public lands.
There
I'll
you
mute
go.
myself now, thank you.
Thank you. And just waiting so patiently. The nicest misfit ever. It's Bagel.
Aw.
Not quite the same as the Cleveland Moto guys, but it was a good try. Thank you for representing.
But, you know, I got to have a beer after a long day of Heinkel riding.
I know, Emma, you got to ride the Heinkel, didn't you?
I did indeed. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Cool.
I mean, it's big, it's heavy, it's not a performance machine,
No.
but it's a manual transmission scooter,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds quite meaty.
Yep.
It looks like somebody put two wheels on the rear end of a Chevy Bel Air.
It's kind of got that look about it,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
it looks like the rear fender.
Well, Bel Air or a Frigidaire, one or the other.
But
I didn't
no,
know a Chevy made a Frigidaire.
it's
I like Cedar.
absolutely brilliant. It really is. I enjoyed every moment of being on it.
Wonderful. I'm glad you liked it.
It's like, well, you know, it's rare that you actually get on a machine that's a true time machine.
Yeah.
And when I got on that thing, you know, everything went back to the mid-'60s. It was brilliant.
Yep. Yeah, that bike is now 55 years old.
Wow.
Dang.
Not as old as me.
Emma, you got in there before I could.
Ha!
Well, speaking of time machines, Emma, you helped me work on my KZ400 a bit today.
Yeah, we sorted out a few electrical gremlins.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, you're a big supporter, big fan of Yuasa Batteries.
Oh, God, yeah. And you've got a unicorn.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I bought a new Yuasa, and last week I filled it with acid, charged it up, put it in the bike, and nothing. So then this week I'm like, I'm going to check it out. And Emma was helping me test everything. The battery was reading 0. And in fact, when we put the charger on it, it doesn't even recognize that it's attached to anything.
And, you know, I think that might be telling because when you see a battery, I mean, basically, you just see the box with a terminal and a terminal, and there's a lot going on inside. And the positive terminal drops down into the plate, and then there's a pack of plates, and then another 5 packs of plates alongside it. And I think somewhere along the line, that chain is broken. And if it is, you'll just get nothing. And I think that's what's happened. But why it's broken is anybody's guess.
No connectivity, no power.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
But last week I charged it, and it showed a reading.
Well, you broke it,
Yeah,
didn't you?
something let go inside. And I've had batteries before that have had internal issues where something broke and it did weird things. It happens. It's a physical medium.
But upon hooking up another battery, I found out that there was a little bit of janky wiring, and there was a short in the system somewhere, which we're not sure if that led to the demise of said battery or not. Emma, what's your guess?
I mean,
Coincidence or?
it may. You've got in a regulator rectifier, you've got little diode packs, and you've got to charge them up. And I think that the first time that we flashed the battery across, and I thought, oh, there's a dead short. It's just charging up the diode packs. I don't think so. I think you just got a janky battery. So it'll give you an opportunity, because I think that one was undersized. So get the right size battery, and it's the last thing you do. Connect up your battery. You do everything else first.
Yeah, but this bike is basically a dirt bike. It's kickstart only. The battery is just to run the lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Starter.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a big battery, right?
No, it doesn't.
Right. But we did find, Emma helped me quickly find, this is where she's really handy, quickly find a bad connector that had burnt up. And in fact, the male lead that went into the female had melted away. But I was able to scavenge from our box. And this is something I recommend to people. If you have old bikes you're working on and old wiring harnesses or old accessories, I throw them all in a box and we go and scavenge connectors and wires from those all the time. And I was able to get one little male pin to put it into the block and solder it all in and get it all going.
It's funny you should mention that, Liza. When I was getting ready to do the last step on getting my Hankel back together, which was filling and charging the batteries, I was missing because this has two 6-volt batteries in series. And
Wait, why?
Because back in the 1950s, when this bike was first designed, they only had 6-volt motorcycle batteries and a 12-volt system. So that's what they had to do. But there's a little bridge cable that goes between the two batteries, and I couldn't find it anywhere in my boxes. And so I went into that little bin of parts in the garage there and found a suitable piece of wire with ends already on it, bolted it right in. It's perfect fit.
Yeah, it's fun when things that you hoard actually come in handy.
Yep. Do you know what I found in that box, Liza?
What did you find in my box, Emma?
A dead possum?
Possum poop. Which speaks volumes about your hoarding skills.
Hey, some possum might need that poop someday.
Well, I know a chihuahua that would probably enjoy eating it.
Yes. Oh, God. Yeah, so with her help, managed to find these problem wires, get them all replaced, soldered up nice and neat, and all the electrical works. They even had a bad bulb, so all's good. So next step is carb boots, so I'll go from there. But I didn't have as much fun as Jim did. Jim, you had an epic adventure this week, didn't you?
Hey. Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I'm on a streak. So yeah, this weekend, or I just got back, but left on Wednesday and went up north to the Emerald Triangle of California, Mendocino County, and ventured off into Mendocino National Forest and spent 3 nights up there. And it was like, I say it every time when I venture off into the wilds of California, it's brilliant for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it was pretty neat. Like we had talked before, a lot of our trips already got canceled this year. And just as kind of time allows and pops up, I'm kind of trying to bounce out of town.
So a couple of things. Going up to the Emerald Triangle, you shared with me you were given some good advice. Anyone coming to that area is given some advice. You want to share that?
Sure, and it's always good advice to stop at your local ranger station, check in. I always call and say, hey, where's some good places to go, that kind of thing. Also for safety reasons, like what's the fire deal with fires, bears.
Oh, you just cut off. Oh, did you have a battery die maybe? Uh-oh. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, my phone just kind of went sideways. Yeah, so you stop in to see like bears and one of the signs they said, if you come across a illegal marijuana grow, here's what you do. So that was the first for me, actually public noticing on a ranger station what happens if you come across an illegal cannabis grow. So
I should imagine you bounce as quickly as possible.
So what do you do?
oh, well, since we're on the topic,
You pick a bud and you roll it up and you get a lighter.
after that, well, no, in all seriousness, he said first thing is do not take out your phone. Yeah, do not take a picture. Do not take out your phone. And secondly, it was basically leave immediately. Leave immediately.
First advice, don't take a picture. Second advice, leave.
If you're not familiar with that part of California, Mendocino, the Emerald Triangle, it's called because of the marijuana industry. It started in the late '60s when the hippies were bouncing out of San Francisco for an alternative lifestyle, and they didn't grow weed back then for money, or it was something they grew to use and whatever. It was mostly to check out of society. Well, over time, they figured out they could make money and blah blah blah. So up until recently, it was illegal. So it was very dangerous to venture out into the wilds of Mendocino. And there's a series on Netflix, if you're curious about it, called Murder Mountain.
Right.
So it's a trip. You go up there, and not to get off a tangent, but there's a lot of illegal growing back there. And a lot of cash money and shady people. And you realize, I think Mendocino, that area is the least populated part of California, extremely dense forest. Ranges from 1,000 feet. I think the highest goes up to about 6,000 feet in that area. Super dense, but the illegal grows everywhere, so you do not venture off the path. But anyway, that was kind of interesting. But now that it's legalized, it's fascinating because you see it right along the road. I think it's Highway 183 we took out of Cavello. And, most of it's kind of blocked off. You can't see it. Sometimes you can see by it. Holy moly, can American farmers farm? I tell you what. So anyway, the other little interesting side note is they're putting big pressure on the wine business because that area is also wine central.
Yeah.
Down south through to Healdsburg and all the way up to Willits. And they're starting to compete for resources, water, fertilizer, all that kind of stuff. So little by little, wine's getting squeezed out by the cannabis industry. Anyway, all that aside, it's beautiful. It's very typical of California in the mountains when you get up about that height. So went off on some fire roads, kind of nerded out on Google Earth and just check some stuff out. And wanted to find water because it gets hot up there.
There's a cat behind you.
By me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, little kitty, mangy. It's a shop kitty. He's been huffing all day, huffing brake cleaner. So off on the fire roads, and that's why I said earlier, protect your public lands because it's great. I'm the hierarchy kind of is, the lamest stuff is around your neighborhood. Then you go to an OHV area. Then the next cool step, in my opinion, up from there would be a state park because you have a little bit more leeway. You can camp. Then when you get into federal lands like national forests and even better BLM land, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. So this was national forest. So you could either camp at some developed stuff, you could head off on fire roads and find things. So it was really desolate. There was almost no one out there.
And then the next level up, Eresberg.
Eresberg. Yeah.
Asperger.
So, but it was very typical of the writing we do. It's a lot of, basically it's every form of base rock you can imagine, from big softball sized chunks of rocks to just hard packed rock and everything in between. But the views again are magnificent. You can see down these huge valleys.
So besides the pot growers, there's some other things you have to look out for that you encountered as well.
Yeah, it's funny. We get up there and you think about bears, normally that's the thing you worry about, bears eating your food or trashing your car. So don't see any signs of bear, no poop or anything. So that's cool. But see all of this other wildlife, everything from deer going across the road to a lot of rabbits, chickmuns, tons of birds. Butterflies came out of the woodwork. It was wild. This pond was really alive with dragonflies. So it was like a Disney movie, where's Bambi going to pop out? So I look over and, what comes popping out of the woods? A fucking rattlesnake. Sorry, French. But yeah, no shit. I'm in our little site, no one around, chill as, we've been bouncing around for a couple of days or a day and a half at least, like idiots. And 10 feet away, there goes a rattlesnake. I think easily 3.5 feet, 4 feet. So it was a good sized snake. And yes, it was. When you look at it from 10 feet away, you're like, yep, that's about 4 or 5 rattles. And the awesome part was that one of these bushes right by where we were, and I was going to scare it out so it'd go somewhere else. Nope, it just hunkered right down. So there we are for 3 days next to this rattlesnake, as far as we know. So that was cool. And then the other fascinating thing is I was riding through the trails, and came across a downed tree and couldn't really get under it, blah, blah, blah. So I had to back up, shot off the trail into the woods, got stuck for a while there. Finally got the bike turned around by dropping it and dragging it by the rear wheel, aiming up. Yeah, it was fun. I was about to have a heat stroke. It was like, you know how it's like a half an hour of fighting this thing, trying to get it up a hill and in the pine straw. So it's a beautiful forest with leaf litter. And so I go down to reach the rear tire to pull it back, and pow, like, oh, cool, there's a scorpion. I'm like, what the fuck? We're like 3,500 feet up in the middle of the pine forest, and there's a scorpion boogieing by. So I'm like, that's cool, rattlesnake, scorpions. But we did get escorted up the road where someone going up this fire road. Out of nowhere, this turkey comes up on the road and starts hauling ass in front of us, which is pretty funny. And we're just rolling behind it. We must have followed that thing for a quarter mile, and it was just booking. It was hilarious. So, but it was fun riding. I took the 250, got to practice a lot of the things we learned with Jocelyn. So, reading foot pegs, steering with my hips a lot. Really trying to get the weight right and keeping your eyes up, covering the front brake, screwdriver grip. We really got to practice a lot of that stuff because some of these roads get real big sweeping turns and there's really no one around. So, you can get up going 40, 50 miles an hour and the whole bike just gets that skiing feel.
So you noticed a difference in your riding?
Yeah. Especially when I got in trouble, because the exciting part about those kind of long curvy sections where you're getting up in speed is usually they end abruptly and you can't really see it so it's either a bunch of ruts or a patch of sand or a turn. So where you really got to practice is braking wasn't an option. So you pick your eyes up, you get your weight in the right spot, and the bike just, bike just wants to go where it goes. So yeah, it's amazing if you just relax, keep your eyes up. That's really it. Relax, keep your eyes up. You go where you're supposed to go.
And there's one more part of the story, and this is something I really appreciated, because it can be dangerous going off riding on your own, right? Which you were doing. You were just going off into the woods with the rattlesnakes and shit.
Yeah, I did 50 miles one day. I was probably 25, 30 miles away from most people.
But what I appreciated is every now and then I'd get a message sent to me from your Garmin InReach.
Yeah, Garmin
saying,
Mini.
Here's where I am. I'm okay. That you just did little check-ins. And I think that is a great tool to have. And I was with somebody and I said, oh, I haven't heard from Jim today. He's probably okay. Because you have it's either you're having fun or you're dead. If I don't hear from you, it's having fun or dead. If you're in trouble, you have that there and you'll hit that button.
You're either
it's kind of
it's
fun.
Too late.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of fun because you get to let your show people where you are. And I don't know what it looked like on the map. It had to look like I was in the middle of nowhere. But it's kind of and it's easy to do. Literally, for me to send that message to you was about three clicks. 3 buttons. I got to add a fourth. I got the first one is, hey, I'm here. I'm having a good time. Whatever. Second is bike broke down. I'm fine. Third is basically I called SOS. I'm hosed. I gotta do the third one for you, Liza. So when you look at my location, you know I'm pooping.
Yes. Usually that's the one I get is the I'm pooping one.
But the weather came in handy again because it was hot. So hit the weather on the thing, getting a 3-hour accurate forecast, for the next 2 days. It was great. So yeah, I like the InReach. It's fun.
Well, and Jim, that was a great trip you had, but dude, we're leaving in 2 weeks for our trip. Isn't it 2 weeks?
I don't know. It's got to be longer than that. Yeah, who cares? Next month.
Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, we're outie. I don't know, but South Dakota, here we come.
Weeks?
Who's running the garage in your absence, Liza?
I've asked Knock to come in. No, Emma, you are.
Because everyone will do exactly what I say. Are you listening, Bagler?
Yeah, boy.
You better. Because I shall be in charge. I'm going to rename Recycle Garage Emma's Reign of Terror. Thankfully, I think it'll be quite short-lived. What is 2 or 3 weeks, Liza?
Exactly. It's going to be 2+.
2+, yeah.
2+.
Well, if it works out well while we're out there, they'll do some weird quarantine thing, and we won't be able to come back to Santa Cruz.
That is a concern.
Then we'll just go ride another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. If they don't start getting these numbers back down, we may all soon be going into quarantine again quickly.
Well, you guys heard about San Francisco, right?
What about San
No.
Francisco?
Like 4 or 5 days ago, they went in a complete lockdown.
Did they?
They did. You're only allowed to leave your house for doctor's visits and groceries.
Wow.
We may be going into a nationwide lockdown.
And their numbers aren't that bad. I mean, California in general is bad, mostly in Southern
Right.
California.
But the
San
lockdown-
Francisco's like, well, we're not messing around.
Right, but the lockdown is necessary to keep the numbers from going up even further. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all this opening up is only accelerating those numbers going up.
It's going to fade away. I'm not worried.
Yeah.
So back to motorcycles.
we're talking about our
garage indefinitely, Liza.
Thank you. So we're talking about our trip and like where we're going to go. And I was just telling him about a nice little side trip I have planned for him. So you guys may know I was born in southern Utah. My family's from there. I spend my every other summer there. So there's a really cool place right before you get to Zion National Park. And there's a little town outside of it, tiny little town called Rockville. And there's a turn you can make that takes you over an old bridge. And
Does
onto
Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble live there?
close.
Okay.
Actually, this town, I've been fascinated with this since I was a kid. It's such a small town. It's just one street. It's the highway, right? And there's houses on the side, and you have the American flags. And the street lights, to this day, is still bare light bulbs. It's a wire with a bare light bulb hanging down the street.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. It's a real small town. But
Are we going to be able to see Butch Cassidy's gravestone
he's
or
not,
something like that?
something like that. Birthplace. We're going to go to his birthplace.
Is that what it was? Okay.
But we're going to go off, and I do this all the time. I've grown up going to visit this ghost town called Grafton. But what's great is it's a dirt road, and you're going off into, because it's right near Zion, it's a lot of these cool rock formations and kind of desert and rolling hills and stuff like that. And I've always done it in a car, but I think we'll park and we'll unload the bikes and go ride. And there's the old settlers cemetery for the ghost town. And it's really cool because it's in the desert, and they had old wooden grave markers that are carved out that are still there from the 1800s.
Right.
Wow. I got a game we can play.
Huh?
I said I have a game we can play.
Yeah.
How many grave mounds can you jump?
Yeah. And there's
That is not respectful, Jim.
It's such
At least
hard
another piece of plywood.
it's such hard dirt there. You can't like dig down 6 feet. So people are buried, and then the ground is packed, and there's still these mounds over them.
Wow.
And a lot of them were killed by Indians.
They're called whoops.
Mm-hmm. And you can go back to this town, Grafton. It's a little ghost town. And it was made famous, actually, from the film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. If you recall the film, there's a famous scene where they're playing that song, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
Yeah.
Paul Newman is riding around on a bicycle outside
That's in Grafton.
his girlfriend's house, the school teacher. That was in Grafton. That whole bike scene and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're really lucky here on the West Coast because there's a ton of these little ghost towns, and they're all so well preserved. I mean, there's Grafton, there's Bodie, is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Calico is another one.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a ton of them everywhere.
Well, there's a lot of mining stuff. Yeah, a lot of
you talk
mineral
about
kind of
going
things.
back in time.
Yeah, you go
Yeah.
to San Benito County. There's weird stuff down there.
There's
Yeah,
only
you're right.
there's only a couple buildings left there, but it's a cool, neat old dirt road back there, and what a great starter to kick off our trip and just go show him some of the places I've grown up going. Then we'll head up through Utah and then over to Colorado, where I think we're going to head to Denver.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
hoping to knock on Aaron Still's door. Ding dong, hey.
Yeah. Me
We're
too.
here.
That would be awesome. That would be. We'll just maybe we shouldn't. We should just show up and be like, hey. Don't give her advance warning.
I know.
Yeah, it'd be a hoot. I would love to ride in Colorado. I've never been to. I haven't been to any of these states, so I can't wait to see Colorado. And as it worked out, where I think I was going to say we have a little bit extra time because we can't really ride most of Utah. California, Utah is out because it's going to be like 110 degrees. So we may as well bound on up to Colorado and start riding there.
Well, you might get some nice weather depending where you are in Utah too. It can be cooler up in the hills, and there's amazing riding all over there. So,
well, I told Liza the BDR goes, through southern and northern Utah, so we could pick up part of the BDR if we wanted to up in northeast Utah, central northeast.
Right. You have to remember, not all of Utah is balls hot. A lot of it is higher elevation, and it's not. There's a lot of different elevations there. So,
but if I had a choice, if I had a choice to ride by myself or with not when it's bad, but you and I to ride by ourselves up in Utah or hook up with Aaron and ride in Colorado, I think I might choose some time with Aaron.
What?
Oh, they're a hoot. Those two are great.
Yeah, I gotta email her.
Please be safe out there.
Yeah, so I'm getting psyched. Though our turnaround destination is Custer, South Dakota, where my good friend Michelle lives and has her chalet motor lodge. Really cute, like vintage little motel. And unfortunately, this week, after having nice spring, and the buffalo coming out and all the flowers coming up, on Thursday, I think it was Thursday, torrential hailstorm. Like 1.5 feet of hail stacked in front of her customer's door. She had to dig people out of their rooms. Crazy. And destroyed the neon that's on the face of her building and her roof, and killed all of her plants and
no.
And then the torrential downpour that then flooded everything. Yeah, so there's crazy weather there. Yeah. Crazy weather in South Dakota.
Well, I can't wait to get there, but that'll be interesting, the whole Indian history. I mean, talk about burial mounds about in the Wild West, but I think when we get out to South Dakota and the Black Hills, I'm actually kind of excited to learn more about that, that whole thing.
Well, and we're going to be there just a couple weeks before Sturgis Bike Week. So we're going to see, they're going to be setting up, preparing for everything.
Yeah. Well, I think I might just bound out into the hills most of the time. What I thought would be great is you guys could come visit a day trip and resupply me.
See, this is what his plan is. His plan is, all right, we're in Custer. I'll see ya. I'm going to go up to the mountains and be a man and live off of rattlesnake blood. Oh, by the way, can you drop off some supplies for me?
Yeah. No, just gas. That's all. Just gas. That'll be a fun trip. You guys could come up. I'd be all dances with wolves. We'd eat some bison.
I love how you're turning it into, it's a fun trip. Come bring me supplies so I don't have to see you again.
Hey, I've been your errand boy for the last 6 years, so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see Michelle. She's great. And just see that part of that. I've never seen any of that part of the country. And take the bikes out. I think having the little bikes will be fun. It's funny, this weekend I rode it with the tires at 20 PSI. It's the hardest I've ever ridden them with. Mm-hmm. The rocks and all that. And I think it made me a better rider in the sense they were pumped up and hard. I think if I was in the forest, like when I went up, it wasn't a hiking trail, but it was a hiking trail that I rode up. And that's where I kind of got stuck, and it was all pine straw. There you definitely have to drop it down to 12 or 10 PSI. But I found, riding on the hard packed rocks and stuff, the harder pressure, well, mostly I just don't want to get a flat. But it actually I think it made you a better rider in the sense, throttle control, clutch control, all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's where you want to have one of them mooses, right? Right, Emma?
Yeah, exactly.
You love them mooses.
Big moose.
If they were DOT and easy to fix in the field, I would totally run one. But can I run one at 20, 22 PSI and then go down to 8?
No, you don't get a choice of what you get to run it. You just stick it in the tube. It's like a moose. It's moose. It's a big
I'm just going to stick with the simple stuff. Me and Liza are going to be in an RV for 2 weeks, and I get to cook the whole time. Oh, we should take a poll.
Wait. Doesn't Liza cook at all?
No.
Really?
Are
you interested in lessons? Yeah. I know that you are the queen of convenience food, but I mean, okay.
So this is going to be Liza's magical mystery tour. I am going to cook her gourmet food daily and try to prohibit her from eating any food out. Now, here's the thing. If I can do that and put all this effort and love into it, but if Liza doesn't do one thing, it will fail. And I need peer pressure from our entire listening audience.
Why do we need any pressure? I told you I'm excited to eat anything you cook for me. Why am I
not drink soda? You cannot drink soda.
You cannot drink beer.
Okay, deal. I gave up beer like 2 years ago. Brandy,
It's going to be on the hard liquor.
But in all, the hard liquor, son. But in all seriousness, I think it's a great chance for you to see what eating clean would do. And if you were actually able to kind of give up soda, I think you might be shocked on how your body feels after 2 weeks.
I told you.
You might take a solid poop.
I've given up soda before.
But you haven't given up the shitty food. So anyway, not to belabor it, but if you let me feed you for 2 weeks, I think you will be a different person.
I don't know why you keep trying to convince me. I already told you. Yeah, I'm in. Anything you cook, I'm happy to eat.
I just got this great vision of Liza reclining on a chaise, dressed in a toga, with Jim feeding her grapes.
As long as they're healthy, yes.
Grapes is code for deep fried sheep's balls.
Yes, and you can be playing a harp, Liza.
It'll
Strumming a
smell
harp
funky.
while Jim feeds you grapes.
I guarantee you, after 2 weeks, and if you were to go in that thing, you will not be able to identify that smell at all. It will be funky.
But what a great motorcycle adventure. I mean, I'm jealous. I think everybody hearing this is jealous. What gets better than that? You know, you just jump in an RV with a couple of dirt bikes on the back. Go and explore America. That really is as good as it gets. That is an adventure in every sense of the word.
And I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to mention that about going to Mendocino, because, well, if people looked at my Instagram page or whatever, all my pictures kind of look the same. It's a dirt bike with like mountains in the background and trees, right? But every time I go, I kind of leave it up to chance. Like I'll pick a kind of an area to hit. And other than that, just leave it up to chance. And I floated this idea to Liza for this trip. Let's not plan shit other than some specific things. Otherwise, let's wing it. Just every day we'll decide what to do. And I find when you allow for that and you stay positive, the most cool things happen. Like, and I think people know what I'm talking about, but I do like the idea, like Emma, you said, take chances. You know what I mean? Go out, do something, just wing it. And shit happens and it's great. You know what I mean? So yeah, go out, do it, take chances.
Well, you say that there's a commonality in all of our lives. I mean, we're bound by motorcycles. But you say, your Instagram posts look the same. All mine look the same. Usually I'm there grinning like an idiot with dirty hands standing above a bike in a million pieces. And all my Instagram posts look like that because that's my life. And your life is riding your bike into God knows where and fighting scorpions and rattlesnakes.
It was funny. I went with a friend and we started going down this road and she's like, "We're going to die." And I knew at that point we were doing the right thing. Because in my mind, I'm like, we're not going to die. She thinks we're going to die. But that's when you know the fun's going to begin, because that's when the adrenaline.
That's when the blood starts pumping.
Yeah. All of a sudden there's a water crossing. Oh, didn't know that was going to happen. So took the new truck through the water crossing. Got some good scratches and mud on it.
No, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, and I am so looking forward to. Liza, you're really going to have to devote a couple of podcasts to your adventures afterwards.
I don't know. We'll see.
Instead of that, let's plan a big camping trip when the COVID thing works itself out. It would be fun to have a bunch of people end up in the woods, barbecuing, riding bikes around, having a good time. It's beautiful, man. The woods are just awesome.
Yeah.
I do just want to remind everyone, though, again, we're so used to doing events and organizing big rides and all that stuff. And this is our response to COVID. And this is a 2-person COVID-safe tour. And that other people, you may want to consider this. I just went to Cruise America, rented an RV. It's as simple as that. You can also go to rvshare.com, the Airbnb of RVs. You may find a van or a giant, bus. You got all sorts of options on there. It's something that other people may want to consider hauling your bike and going touring in a COVID-safe vehicle.
Hey, I've got a question for you, Liza, because, this is something that I know a lot of people want to ask. And for some reason, I've never got around to it myself.
6 foot. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Okay, very good. What does a Cruise America RV cost for 3 weeks?
It's 2 weeks. What did it come to, like $2,000, a couple grand, I think.
Something
So,
like
okay,
that. I can't
$1,000 a
remember.
week.
Something like that.
It almost worked out to be like a hotel room a night, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not saving money, but
Yeah, but you've
reason
got
that
the
we went with
adventure.
the reason we went with Cruise America as opposed to RV Share is that if something happens, if it blows a tire or something happens, they've got places all around the country that we could stop and get it repaired or
Yeah.
trade it in for another. So we have that security.
Right.
That's basically it. Plus, I don't feel guilty shitting in it.
Wait, I thought we had the no shit rule. Oh, you can't
No,
change the
that's you.
rules after
Oh,
I
she's
put down
changed
the
the rules,
deposit.
Jim.
You.
Oh.
I said you can't shit. I didn't say anything about me.
Oh.
It's much safer to take a dump in your RV than it is in a gas station bathroom, if you can even find a gas station bathroom that's open.
Yeah, you can
So-
Okay,
go shit in the woods.
here's the
You want it.
trade-off. I'm going to get you one of those seats that fits on a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And that'll smell
Jim?
much better.
You should bolt that 5-gallon bucket on the back bumper so she can sit on it while you're going down the road.
It's like in India.
Put a couple
Oh my
handles on the
God.
side.
No,
Hey,
it'll be fun though. Yeah, refrigerator.
I'm looking forward to it. Quick announcement. Let's see, last week we released a new Misfits. That was our one on tools. And there were some people who noticed that there were some tools on the table that didn't get discussed. Jim, you got to check out for a bit?
I am out. I got to do some
All right.
things, and hopefully I'll be back in a bit.
Cool.
Ciao, Jimbo.
All right, later. Ciao.
Yeah, and that was because we just talked too long, and I had to edit it down and remove some of the tools.
Well, that's got to be you, Liza, because I don't talk too much.
It's exactly it. But I figure we can always revisit it. So we have another one I'm going to be releasing. So this is on our Recycle Santa Cruz YouTube channel. And this is the Misfits, Emma and I talking about different things. And on this next one, I'm going to release in a couple days this week. We answer some emails and answer some viewers' questions. One is about the PC 800, just to tease that one out. And the other one, do you remember what it was, Emma?
I remember the PC 800 one. Oh God, what did I yak on about the other one?
Bearings.
What?
Bearings.
Oh yes, the bearings one. That's right.
Yeah,
we talk about bearings and how to check your bearings and do all kinds of good things with your bearings. And both of those were listener requests.
Exactly. So apologies. Our goal is to make shorter videos, like 10, 15 minutes, but we're used to doing 2-hour podcasts. So this next one came out at like 32 minutes. We haven't gotten good at just making it short and sweet yet. But we're working on it, right, Emma?
We're working on it.
It's
It's hard because time has never really been an issue. I mean, the podcasts come in at 2 hours long, and it gives us plenty of opportunity to yak on about God knows what and bore our listeners mightily. But this video format, I mean, we're trying to be short and sweet at 15 minutes so we don't send people into a coma. And it's kind of hard because at the 10-minute mark, I'm just getting started. So, it's practice makes perfect, darling.
Well, and speaking of emails, we had an email come in to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com from Betty. And Betty
I was going to
had
read
a
that out.
suggestion that we do a history hole on the Paris Dakar race.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, it's a bit more personal, I believe, because I think she lives out there, right?
Here you go. I'm going to read the actual email.
Yeah.
So absolutely love the podcast. Heart symbol. I like that you mentioned the Dakar Rally. I was raised and born in Dakar in Senegal.
Wow.
I just wanted to mention that the Dakar Rally changed the location because of the terrorist threat in 2001 and ended up in South America. It's going to take place in Saudi Arabia for the next 5 years. It's got more to do with sponsors and money than the actual danger. Lyndon Poskett is actually partaking in the Africa Eco Race. That race, so this is now a different race, the Africa Eco Race, is following approximately the same route from Europe to Dakar. Instead of starting in Paris, they're actually starting in Monaco. That race was born out of the Dakar Rally fans and participants who wanted the Dakar to go back to its roots, so as not to confuse with Dakar in Saudi Arabia. Some people also prefer the African Eco Race because of the human rights violations happening in Saudi Arabia, but Betty is following both at the moment. Brabeck, an American, has a real chance, and I think he does.
I think he did. It's over.
So Betty's in Toronto now. And what a great subject, Betty. So history hole on Paris Dakar.
So, and when I brought this up to Emma, she's like, well, you know, that's such a big topic. It's been going on for so many years. There's so many different, you know, places it's been, people have been in there, vehicles that race in it. So Emma, you decided to narrow it down. What are we going to be talking about tonight?
So basically, I wanted to have a chat about the origins of the Dakar Rally, because really we're presented with this huge international rally now, but it's the brainchild, it's the baby of one man. And so what I'm going to focus on are really the first 6 years of the rally, the first 7 years of the rally. And we can talk a little bit about how it started, its roots, and what it grew into, and really what it became today and the influence it's had on us. So it all goes back to one man. It's a French guy. He's called Thierry Sabine. And Thierry Sabine is, or was, should I say, quite an accomplished motorcycle racer. You know, French motorcycle racing, dirt bike racing, has always had an element of long distance. I mean, this is going way back to the 60s. There's a lot of French territories in Morocco and Africa. And so, you know, in the 60s and 70s, you know, these odd little races that would go from somewhere in France all the way down through Morocco, all the way down into Africa. And Thierry Sabine was one of those guys that did rather well at it. And there's a legend of how the Dakar Rally was born. And it's kind of embellished, but back in 77, there was a rally that went from Azerbaijan, the Middle East, to Nice in southern France. And Mr. Sabine was riding in it, and he got lost. Because, I mean, if you think about it, you're dealing with just vast expanses of brown stuff.
Tunis, do you mean Tatooine?
Yes.
Not a lot of road signs, I imagine.
Yes. So he got completely lost. And he ended up actually in the Dakar Desert in Senegal.
Wow.
However, he thought, you know, this is going to be a fantastic proving ground for long-distance off-road vehicles. And he was a motorcycle racer, so naturally he was immediately thinking about bikes. But just because of the size of this place, I mean, it would have been great for all vehicles, and indeed that's what it became. The legend goes that, you know, the Paris Dakar Rally was born at that moment, but in truth, Mr. Sabine, you know, he'd really been thinking about this for many years previously and just trying to gel it all together. And I think perhaps that was the final piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and he made it happen. So we come to the very, very first race. And here's some numbers for you. It was held on Boxing Day, 1978. Do you know what Boxing Day is, darling?
It's like Christmas for Canadians?
Yes,
No,
it's
French.
the-
What is
it's
it?
it is the day after Christmas. It's
Okay.
December the 26th, and it's
Everybody gets in fights with one another.
Yes, exactly, because your granny puts on her boxing gloves and smacks Uncle Freddie in the teeth.
He's
No,
been asking
I
for
mean
it, you know.
it's the origins of Boxing Day go back to hundreds of years, but traditionally, in the gilded stately homes of England, it was the day when the servants got served by the lord and lady. So the roles were kind of reversed, and so anyway, so Boxing Day 1978, it started, and the early years were always my favorite part because we immediately, whenever you say Paris Dakar race, your mind immediately goes to sand dunes with some giant motorcycle doing these impossibly long jumps on sand dunes and being flat out. And that is true. But remember, it starts in Paris, France, in the middle of winter. So the start of the Paris Dakar race usually was snow, slush, rain, freezing temperatures. And of course, if you're in a car, that's great. You turn the heater up. But if you're on a bike, that's what you start the rally in. And that's what I remember the most about it. So in the very first year, 182 competitors, of which 74 were motorcycle riders.
Wow.
The route itself was 6,200 miles, and it's really taking part over 12 days. So it's about 500 miles a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 500-mile day, which is
What a ride.
plenty.
I'd like to point out 500 miles a day on a modern bike on freeway is still a long day.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
And
And remember, so
this is on not easy terrain.
right, exactly.
That's crazy.
And in winter conditions for a
Yeah.
huge part of the race.
That's why this is only the best of the best.
Exactly, and that's what it became. So it's 12 days. The attrition rate has always, from day one, even to this day, the attrition rate's really hovered about 50%. However, on a bad year, 80%, that's 80% of the competitors can drop out. Isn't that amazing?
That's a tough race.
Care to guess how many lives have been lost over the years?
Ooh,
40 years.
None?
40 years?
Wrong, 70.
Whoa.
70 people have died.
Oh, wait, how many
Doing-
people have died at Isle of
in a year.
Man over the last 40 years?
Yeah,
Probably. quite a few.
that's getting up there as well.
But that's high
hey,
speed
you know
road
what?
racing.
We should research that.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, and this is the crux of the Dakar Rally. This is the absolute crux of it. 80% are amateurs. And we're going to revisit this over the next 5 minutes, and I'll tell you why it's so important. So the winner, and I'm just going to deal with the motorbikes, because guess what? We're a motorbike podcast.
Right.
Cyril Neveu, Yamaha XT 500,
Mm-hmm.
winner in 1979. Second place, Gilles Comte, Yamaha XT 500. Third place, Philippe Vassar, Honda XL 250.
Wow.
Nice.
So we go to 1980. Now the numbers got up a little bit in 1980. They went from 182 to 216. And if you look at these early years, they're going up pretty incrementally. But Cyril Neveu, again, he won on his XT 500. Michel Morel, XT 500 Yamaha, second. And Jean-Noël Pinot, Yamaha XT 500, first, second, and third.
Nice.
So,
do you think this helped sell a lot of Yamahas?
oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because this was an absolute showpiece. And before the Super 10, there was a Tenere.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the #1 selling bike in France. Now, let's put that into perspective a little bit. I'm not talking about the #1 selling bike of a certain CC. I'm not talking about the #1 selling road dirt trail bike. I'm talking about the #1 selling motorcycle was the Tenere.
Wow.
So, you know, it had a huge influence. Interesting enough, in 1981, it's climbing still, we've got 291 competitors. Now the BMW is beginning to take over. The winning bike was a BMW R80, but XT 500 Yamahas took second and third. Now, Cyril Neveu, he's back again. He wins in 1982, but he's changed now. Now he's on Honda XR 550, which is a single-cylinder bike. And then the XR 550s did really, really well. But one thing I want to make absolutely clear, from 1979 until 1983, the French absolutely dominated. They crushed the motorcycles. And really, I'm looking at the stats now, going right up to present day, and there's an awful lot. There is an awful lot of French flags on here. 84 and 85, it was won by Gaston Rahier, who's a Belgian. Franco Pico came in third, Andrea Ballestieri, they're both Italian. And it's just France, 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 France. Few Spaniards are doing quite well. No Brits. Oh, that's awful. Yeah. So it's really been a very, very French event. So anyway, I was getting off track looking at the stats. So the reason why I think it was so successful, the winning formula, you needed a good machine. But the winning formula was this kind of almost like buccaneer-like attitude. I mean, you had to be a little bit crazy to race in this race.
Oh, yeah.
And sheer bloody fortitude kept you going.
And money.
And so in a lot of ways, if you had factory support, of course that was an advantage. But it wasn't a supreme advantage. A lot of independents have done very, very well in the race. All of those names I gave you were independents on the bikes. And then the cars as well. I've just touch on the cars. There was this couple called the Amuro Brothers. And the Moto brothers were racing little Renault 4s, which is a tiny little mini-sized car with no ground clearance, against factory-entered Volkswagens. Now, guess what? The Volkswagens won, but not by much.
Yeah.
You know, and the Moto brothers came in second. So it's always had that kind of swashbuckling, daring-do air about it. It climbed steadily. I mean, by 1982, it had doubled the numbers. It was now up to 382 competitors. And with still, you know, it's always been split less than 50% on motorbikes. I mean, there's a lot of vehicles that take part in this. You've got the motorcycles. You've got the cars, obviously. You've got the trophy trucks. And they're kind of different to the American trucks. These are kind of big military style trucks. And then increasingly in later years, you see the quads coming in, which I can think of nothing which would tire me out more than riding a quad for so far. But of course, 2001, everything changed, and it stopped being the Paris Dakar, and they changed the route. But we're dealing with the early years. So 1986 really was the watershed year, and it was quite tragic because the man who basically he invented the Paris Dakar Rally was killed in a helicopter crash. And Thierry Sabine was no more.
Wow.
So that really was obviously the end of a certain era. And from that point forward, it's become more of the vision of a group of people rather than the vision of one man. And I think, it's changed. I mean, I think if Mr. Sabine saw what the Dakar was now, he'd be absolutely horrified. Conversely, if he saw what the Africa Eco Race would be now, I think he'd very much approve of that, because it's far more in vein of what the original concept was. So that's it. It's always been a great proving ground for bikes. I know you want to talk a little bit more about the bikes and the bikes that were spawned, Liza. However, would you like to know what make the first car was that won in the very first race?
Oh, I'll take a guess. Peugeot.
No. Although it was a French driver.
Oh.
Range Rover V8.
Ah.
Wow.
And I think that was the last time. Let me have a look. No, actually, it Range Rover V8 won again in 81, and then a lot of Mitsubishis, a lot of Citroën.
And you know what car won in 1986?
Let's have a look. 86, it would have been a Porsche 959.
Yes, outfitted for off-road driving. It was an amazing vehicle.
And the famous Belgian racing driver Jackie X came in second. So, very, very interesting race. Very, very interesting race. And what a great introduction to it. From Betty, thank you so much. I mean, it's always been on my radar. And my memory of the Paris Dakar races are those very, very early years. And we would sit glued in front of the TV because, of course, it was the middle of winter. And we'd see these poor people just slipping and sliding away from the starting line on these impossibly large bikes. And you'd think, how the hell are they ever going to make it to the end of the street, let alone all the way down to Senegal? It was a wonderful event.
Yeah, and I wanted to share a bit of the lineage of the motorcycles. That there's roots in a lot of bikes today to the Paris Dakar. Most notably, my Africa Twin.
Oh, yeah.
You can trace that back to a Paris Dakar bike.
Because the route goes through Africa.
The Africa Twin, exactly.
Right.
The Super Tenere today has its roots, as you said, from the Tenere. KTM Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
That is a Paris Dakar bike. And then also you get like the Kagiva Elephant.
Oh, I am so glad you mentioned the Kagiva Elephant. My favorite of all of them.
Of animal bikes.
Yes.
But probably the most notable bike.
GS.
The BMW R80 GS. This was the grandfather of adventure bikes. This was the first. And if you notice, I'm holding up a model here. This is the Paris Dakar GS, the R80 GS. That's what it was designed for.
Yeah.
And the fact that the current adventure bike trend and the GSs that everyone's riding and the Africa Twins and the Super 10s, it all gets traced back.
Hold on, you. You are holding Gaston Rehier's 1984 winning bike.
Nice.
Yes.
Because that's is that 235, that bike?
235.
Yeah, that's Gaston Rehier's.
Yeah.
So that is the 1984 winning bike. Look at the size of the fuel tank on that thing. It's 10 gallons.
You need that out there in the desert.
Can you imagine having a full tank and having it fall over? I mean, you're simply not going to pick it up.
I mean, can you imagine riding on the sand with a full tank?
Yes.
But I find it fascinating that that's what a lot of the bikes that we're riding today, that are around today, are all traced back to being modified to be able to race in that race. Bagel, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have there been any scooters in the Paris Dakar?
There have been scooters that have ridden in the Paris Dakar.
No.
Yes. In fact, I believe it was 1984, if I remember correctly. Or I'm sorry, no, 1980. The Vespa France, not the parent company in Italy, but the French importers of the Vespa, put together a team of 4 Vespa P200s that entered into the 1980 Paris Dakar Rally. And they outfitted these bikes with an external, very large air filter. They put on some extra big lights on the front. And they did a couple of other, modifications to reinforce them and make them, a little bit more sturdy. But the race was, as you mentioned, is a very brutal race. 2 of the bikes were out of the race within fairly short order. The other 2 kept going. One bike died on the last day, just short of the finish line, seized the engine and had to basically push it over the finish line. I think they put it in the truck and brought it across. The one bike did finish the race, but it finished. It took so long for them to finish. It was after the race was already over that they crossed the finish line. So they finished, but it was not technically counted, I think. But in terms of the effort and the sheer willpower they put into making that effort come true, that was quite an amazing event that they put together. One of the main problems that they found out that they had with the bikes was the rear shock mount.
Oh.
And you would think that with the Vespa, it would be, the little wheels that would get them buried in the sand.
The little wheels on the clearance, yeah.
Right, stuff like that. And I'm sure that was a challenge. But the real problem was the rear shock mount. Now,
it mounted directly to the motor?
Well, it's mounted directly to the motor, but it wasn't the motor mount that was the problem. It was the mount on the frame. Because if you recall, the Vespa has a monocoque chassis, which means it's just pressed steel. So
aren't technically all men monocoque?
Yes.
Technically, yes. There might be a few who aren't. I don't know. I haven't.
What, duococks?
Possibly. But
I've seen pictures.
I've heard of them. But the Vespa is a monocoque. And so the rear shock mounts to it's basically a rubber mounted plate that bolts onto the frame. And so that way you've got a little bit of cushion, so it's not metal on metal, with all of every hit on the road. But the problem that they ran into was, and this works just fine when you have both tires on the ground. The problem they ran into is in the Paris Dakar, you're often catching air. And with the Vespa, you have a unit motor and swing arm design that is very dense and kind of heavy. So when you launch the bike in the air, the rear shock drops to its full extension when that wheel leaves the ground.
Right.
So when it does that, and it does it usually in very quick order when you launch, so the strain that puts on the mount point was enough to weaken the metal so much that the frame around the shock mount just ripped right out on these bikes. That's what took out most of the bikes in this race. And so the bike would go up in the air, the shock mount would punch through the frame, and they'd come down, and the shock could go punch another hole through the frame. It could lodge between the tire and the frame. It just wreaked all kinds of havoc.
It could go through the dual seat and stick them up the bum.
That maybe if it came down really hard, it could. So that ended up being the weak link for these bikes, and I'm sure that was a very very well learned lesson. But the fact that one bike actually made it all the way through was really impressive, I thought.
Have they continued to run scooters?
No.
So that was in and out.
That's because they're death traps.
No, it's
Death trap.
possible that someone else may have ridden another Vespa at some point, but I wasn't able to find any information about it.
Look, I think for anyone to run the Paris Dakar on a motorcycle, you have to be, crazy.
Oh
And
yeah.
to run it on a scooter, you have to have the double crazy gene.
Oh, definitely. And also I have to mention, and this is not exactly motorcycle related, but there have been some absolutely bizarre vehicles that have been entered into the Paris Dakar. For example, somebody entered a Rolls-Royce Corniche that was all outfitted with off-road tires and lights and everything. They were disqualified because they made an illegal repair on the route at some point that was not permitted, and they got tossed out of the race. There was
because they ran out of Grey Poupon?
Well, actually, they did mention that the Grey Poupon was removed before the race for weight reasons. There was also a Jules 2 Proto. If you have any idea what that is, it's sort of an El Camino styled car with 6 wheels. And that was entered in 1984. It was powered by a 3.5 liter Chevy V8 with a Porsche 935 transmission. And that one was taken out from it because the chassis broke.
Wow.
And somebody also entered a Renault Deux Chevaux, the little tiny
Citroen.
tin can of a car, with 2 motors, one in the front and one in the back. And it did really well until the rear of the frame broke from the weight of the motor.
And I mean, I think that's an exhibition of just how pounding vehicles take in this.
Now, I'm curious. I don't know if you guys have seen. Hey, Knock, you've joined us. How are you?
Hey.
What's up?
I don't know if you guys have seen. There's a story of this guy who was out in a desert on a Deux Chevaux, and the car broke down, and he was able to cobble parts together and make a motorcycle out of it, and ride to safety.
Yep.
I think that would count if you got into the Paris Dakar in a Deux Chevaux and you ended on a motorcycle.
That might have been considered an illegal repair. I'm just going to guess, go out on a limb. But the interesting story about that one where the guy built the motorcycle out of his Deux Chevaux, I think he could not get it back into France because it was no longer a 4-wheeled vehicle that it was registered as, and they wouldn't let him bring it back in. He had to scrap it or something.
That's funny.
Or maybe it was when he got to a border, they wouldn't let him across because it no longer matched the registration.
Well, hey, I wanted to thank both of you for giving us a nice history hole in Paris Dakar.
I am going to end on a very jolly note. It's all been sweetness and light so far, but there is a darker side to the original Paris Dakar, and that is, the environmental impact. And there's been frequent criticism, and it seems there's a French song called 500 Connards sur la ligne de départ. And it's from a French singer called Renault. It was released in 1991. Yes, sing along now, everybody together. And it's it's 500 assholes at the starting line. So, it hasn't been without criticism over the years because, you've got 500 vehicles tearing through, virgin land. It is going to make a bit of an impact. But
and I have to wonder if they're now calling it the Eco Africa Tour. Is that like some kind of greenwashing, or are they actually running ecologically friendly vehicles of some kind?
I don't know.
Or
I think we're going to have to save that for a future history hole because we only covered up to 1985.
This is true.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll save that for another episode. How about that?
All right.
So Ding Dong, what you up to?
Oh, nothing. Just getting back on. Just finished another Zoom call with a friend, and so I'm in the Zoom call with you losers. No, I'm just kidding. I love you people.
So how's the injuries? How they healing?
It's good. I think it's getting better much sooner now. You know how it seems like it's accelerating in terms of how it's healing.
Oh.
So hopefully, I actually sat on the bike today and moved my shoulders around. I was like, "Whoa, okay." Sat on the green bike.
I remember this feeling.
Yeah, and it was cool because on the green bike I have kind of more of my weight forward, so I felt like I could hold my weight up a little bit more. I don't know what the story is on the XR, But yeah, so far so good. I'm thinking maybe next week I'll go for a nice mellow ride and see what happens.
I'd take it easy, Knock.
Yeah.
And don't pull any fucking wheelies.
No. I'll probably start riding my bicycle first, and just to get my muscle memory back with the.
Wait, you have a bicycle and I've been giving you rides? You asshole.
So you need two hands to ride a bicycle too.
Man. Come on, it's a different situation. Plus, my toe was fucked up. Remember?
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting
Yeah.
better, and you get on the bike soon.
Yes, that is the plan.
Nice.
Hey, Emma Bagel, I sent both of you some emails to read, but how many
Yes.
chance did you get them? I wanted
did
to
indeed.
make sure, Emma, that you got a chance to read the one I sent you. It's a little bit long, but it's quite pertinent.
Yes, it it is. Would you like me to read it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from Brett Farrell. And Brett writes, just listened to your last show and thought I had to write in and share the waves that you create. Being a longish
Waves.
time 1969 TR6 owner, that's a very, very good bike. Since 2013 in Montreal, when I built it from the old basket of parts. We've all done that, I think, Brett. I was thinking of something new, and I'd been looking around for a good while. Last year, when Auntie Emma related her Trident crash story, it made me look at them in a new light. They'd never appeared on my radar before, and I sort of knew they existed, but not much more. I got more and more interested. They were different and cool, but similar enough DNA to the twins to feel comfortable. You nailed it there, because there is nothing like a Trident. But there's this familiarity if you're used to English stuff. After staring at adverts and magazines for a couple of hours every evening during lockdown, my wife said, just buy one already. Good girl.
Pour her down.
I looked at getting an import from the UK, going as far as paying a few dodgy guys over there to check out the bikes for me. Eventually, with the cost of import duties, I decided to bite the bullet and buy a Trident here in Switzerland.
Oh.
Blimey, he's in Switzerland. Using the UK imported price as leverage, still for a price that would make your eyes water over there in the US, where great examples routinely trade for about 7K. Yeah, I think I know what you paid for this, Brett. However, the seller lied a little too much, but thankfully it is rather unmolested and has great British styling in Corona yellow. What he's saying is the side of the tank is the colour of PP. It's a lovely colour. This is what I had to deal with on the way home from the cellar. Oil coming out of the air filter, covering the back of the bike and leaking head gasket rockers. Bike would stumble when opening the throttle at highway speeds. Struggled to keep up with highway traffic. Felt like it was running super rich. Well, yeah, there's something very wrong there because Tridents are not slow. The seller claimed I thrashed the bike when actually the oil tank was overfilled and the sump plate was put back on the wrong way round. Head bolts all needed about half a turn to get back to torque. Pilot jets were blocked, of course, and the float levels were way high. There you go. But it's got 10,000 kilometers on it, tires dating from 1995. I would get those checked if I were you. Hoping it'll all work out in the end. Compared to the TR6, where everything had been damaged and messed with over the years, it's nice to find the fasteners and adjusters are still in the original condition. Hope to have it back on the road in a week or two and get a chance to really test it out and do some European touring when the violet blows over. How about a Trident history hold? Hint, hint. And he sent us a picture. There's a few pictures. However, there's a picture of a child who Brett is claiming is his daughter, and I can see the family resemblance. However, the child is holding her nose, and apparently Nina, who is the child's name, who has got, I've got to say, who's got fantastic taste in trousers. She says it's stinky. She must have known about the oil problem, a future mechanic. I've got to be honest with you, Brett. She sounds the most sensible out of all of us. However, what Brett has got is a very unmolested example of an extremely handsome Triumph T150V in black with the piss yellow, jaundiced yellow metallic sides to the tank. Very, very handsome looking bike, and it looks completely stock. So,
Did you see the issue he messaged
yeah,
about?
somebody's been spraying the inside of the air filter with silver paint.
What the?
What?
I wouldn't even know.
Why?
Maybe they
I'll
picked up the
tell you
wrong
what I
can.
think. I tell you what I think happened. Is
It
at
looks
some
nice.
stage somebody might have just sprayed the whole air filter box with silver paint without masking it. I mean, who knows what the hell people do? I mean,
Yeah.
really, I've seen some absolute horror stories. But let's talk about Tridents just briefly.
That's a cool bike.
Yeah, look at that. Hello, Nina. Hello. Yes, your daddy's bike is extremely stinky. There is nothing on the road that sounds as good as a Trident. And that's the end of that sentence.
I'm gonna say Bagel's Heinkel sounds pretty good.
It sounds pretty good in a sort of meaty generator.
But it's only
Kind
one
of way.
cylinder.
Yeah, I mean your Heinkel sounds like a meaty generator, but there is nothing on the road that sounds like a Trident. And you're going to say, well, hang on a minute. My XS750 sounds good. And, Triumph Speed triples sound good. And, and they do. But there's a difference. And there's a big difference. And it's a difference why overhead cam twins sound very different to pushrod twins. And the Trident is a pushrod triple. And it is so fucking meaty sounding. They're a wonderful sounding bike. Even if you quiet them down, because stock they were not loud. But you start that thing up and you're like, dang, this thing sounds good. They are meaty sounding. I've actually got into them in a big way. And, my project's coming along. So
Cool.
thanks for the great email, Brett. And I'm absolutely thrilled. I mean, for me, I just figured out, I love Japanese bikes. I love Italian bikes. But my heart is always going to be with British bikes. And if I don't have a British bike in my life, it's not going to be long until I get one. And my Trident, not the one that tried to kill me, the one I've got now, it's going to be different this time. I can change him. It came to me at the right time and the right price. And I'm going to build it into a bike that hopefully doesn't try to kill me. And it might actually become the replacement for the Guzzi.
Ooh.
Well, we'll just have to see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got a long way to go because there's a lot of fabrication going on. Brett's is a perfect example of a bone stock bike. And very handsome it is too. The only thing I do not like about stock Tridents, and the same can be said of Norton Commandos, they have 19-inch front wheels and they have 19-inch rear wheels, which means tall and skinny on the front, tall and skinny on the rear. And, it's almost like a rugby player wearing ballet shoes. It's got that kind of tippy-toey look. And a lot of people like it because it gives it a very tall sort of, it's a very tall profile. I've always preferred something a little chunkier. And of course, my Trident's going to have 17s on it with radials, which will change the look completely. But God, what a great looking bike. What a fantastic sounding bike. So good one.
There you go.
I look forward. I hope he writes in and tells us how good it runs when he's fixed all the shit stuff.
Nice.
Knock, did you get that email I sent you to read?
I did. I got it right here. Oh, wait. I closed the window that I had it on. Here we go.
Geez, here we
Give me
go.
a second. For God's sakes.
And Bagel, if you
Okay.
didn't figure out, you're queued up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This one's called The Wee Bandito.
Yeah.
This is from our friend Patrick. Hey, it's Patty from New Jersey again. Mission
Yeah.
update.
Hey, Patty.
Hi, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
I have failed Emma's army. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
no.
no!
No,
I
you
gave
can't
up-
fail this of Emma's army.
You get to demote it to latrine cleaner or something like that.
GP duty. Clean those carbs.
Yeah. I gave up working on the Bandit 400. I could get it to run okay on the bench, but it would fall flat fully when fully assembled. ProWrench tells me it was an issue with a fuel. Vacuum line to petcock had no clamp, was not fully opening due to an air leak. Lesson learned. You also suggested I make the leap to an RC51 project that came up at the beginning of this COVID nonsense to help clear my mind. To help clear my head from working in the ICU, I got it and would work in the garage. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he got it. And because he was living at home at the time. I'm home now and I'm symptom free and I've been able to source all my parts except a set of headlights and a fuel tank. Yeah, I'd imagine those fuel tanks and the headlights are hard to find since they're just kind of unique looking, you know, and
Yes.
they're kind of wide too. I'd imagine they get damaged pretty easily in wrecks. But so close to getting a bucket list bike on the road. Nice. Thanks for the constant motorcycle chat and shenanigans. Good luck and stay safe. I hope Emma is not embarrassed of me. I can still apply an Emma's Army sticker when they come. Heal up well, Knock. Thank you. And P.S. My bike count will be up to 5 when the War Pig is done.
Nice.
I live an hour outside of New York City, and if you ding dongs are on the right coast, need a place to crash or a bike ride, hit me up. Signed, Patty. Thank you,
thanks, Patty.
Patrick.
Okay, and I just want to make it clear that Paddy is an honorary member of Emma's Army. Nothing will give me greater pleasure than sending Paddy out as Emma's Army sticker the moment they arrive. But my printer is still, he's still on lockdown, poor bastard.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to get out. He might actually be in prison. So I'm going to see if I can post his bail tomorrow and actually get things moving.
Cool.
Because I haven't just got the Emma's Army stickers on order. I've got the special Emma's Face stickers on order. So if anybody's very, very, very good, I'm going to send them a picture of Emma's face to stick on their bikes.
Nice.
Oh, it's very good. It's a great sticker. So talk among yourselves.
I'm going online. I'm actually on eBay right now looking at RC51 tanks. There's only 2 of them. They're both like beat to shit.
And they probably want $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, this one's like $250 plus $50 shipping, and
For a
the other
beat-up
one
tank?
is just like $175, but it's all just smashed up to hell.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Go figure.
Oh, no, Emma, you're trying to show us
Hold
something?
on.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm getting in. Just stop your noise.
Excellent.
What's going on? What happened? What did I miss?
So I will be getting 50 of those to send out to special peeps.
Why are you so angry at that photo? What's going on?
It's okay. Well,
You
that's
think you just had like bad curry. You're like, this is not what I ordered.
no.
Send this back.
I ordered the Vindaloo.
You prefer that one?
Nice.
No, I think that's the Emma's getting it on face. It's the Emma. Give it the beans face.
That's
there
the
you
look
go.
on your face when somebody says, drill the jets out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's the drill the jets out face.
It's like, what?
Oh, jeez.
Don't do that.
Bagel, you got
Yes.
an email there. And
do.
you have an accent ready, I hope.
Oh, yeah. This is from Kyle Thiessen. And Kyle doesn't say exactly where he's from, but he is from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure he is. What a hoser.
So Kyle says, hello, Misfits.
Hey, Kyle.
I recently came across a dilemma that I thought might make for a good conversation topic on the podcast. One that listeners can probably relate to. Last week, I acquired a new project bike, a 1985 Kawasaki LTD 250 that I picked up for a grand total of $100 Canadian, about $37 US.
Can't go wrong with that.
I bought it sight unseen and had a friend pick it up for me. My plan was to fix it up and flip it, hoping to make a couple bucks while I'm out of work due to the Rona. Of course, when I finally saw it in person, it was not as mechanically sound as I had initially thought. The whole wiring harness has been cut in the middle, and the sprocket shaft bearing has lost most of its balls, just to name a couple of issues. My question to the Misfits is, in your experience, at what point is a project gone too far gone, and are you better to dump it or part it out? Thanks for your opinion, and I hope to hear your answers on the podcast this week. As always, keep up the good work and stay healthy. I hope to come down there for another visit once we are allowed to travel again. Kyle from Canada.
Hey,
Kyle. Do you guys mind if I take this one?
Yeah, do it.
All right.
So I've been in this exact boat. I've fixed bikes up that were basket case like this, and I have gotten rid of bikes that were like this. And I'll tell you what the difference is. It depends on where you are in your journey as a mechanic. If you are early on in your journey, this is the perfect bike because you're going to learn so much, but you're not going to depreciate the value, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tear it apart and learn on it. But you have to remember, a bike like this isn't about the end product. It's about everything you learn in the process.
The journey.
Now, later on, for me, it became, once you've done it like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, it's not about the journey. It's about you're doing it for the end product. And then it matters, do you have a use for that bike? Or can you get value out of that bike or resell that bike?
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on where you are in your journey as a mechanic. And if you still want to learn and tackle something new that you haven't challenged yourself to do before, this is the perfect bike to do it on. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
I would think so. And a 1985 Kawasaki LTD 250, as far as I know, is not a particularly sought-after bike. So that's not something you're really going to have to worry about. You can completely fuck it up, and who cares? You're at $100, and you've learned.
It's a little one-lunger. It's not dissimilar to a Yamaha Exciter.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
but if you fix it up,
sorry. So like you spend $100 and you get this bike going, and you maybe put $50 into it. The feeling of you starting up that motor is gonna feel way more than the $150.
Oh yeah, it'll be
more satisfaction.
Yeah,
it'll be brilliant.
Yeah,
and and the problems that he talked about, a cut wiring harness is a huge suck, because why would somebody do that in the first place? And it's, a pain in the ass to have to replace, but it's a good experience to learn how to do that. If you can find maybe if you pick up a parts bike or find a wiring harness somewhere.
Or here's a challenge, building your own wiring harness.
I got something. Oh, for God's sake, you're missing the obvious point. You buy a soldering gun, some solder, and some heat shrink, and you do each individual wire. Because even at its thickest point, that wiring harness is only 20 wires thick. And you could strip back, solder, and heat shrink 20 wires in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and I was going to say that is good practice for soldering wires.
Right, because the last one he does will be brilliant. The first one will look like a bird crapped all over it. But the last one, it'll look like a little tiny chrome bullet. It'll look fantastic.
Well, it helps that the soldering iron gets nice and hot after the first couple wires too. So,
and just go on to YouTube, look for videos on how to solder and electronics videos. I mean, there's just so much resource out there,
Yeah.
The
good news is the LTD 250. It's not a complicated bike.
Which is great to learn on too.
I was going to say the other reason to do it is actually one of the reasons the whole Recycle Garage was started. Was to keep these old bikes on the road. And so don't look at doing it to make money off of it. If you are able to sell it and make back all the money you spent, but you've now put that bike back on the road to somebody who couldn't afford a great bike, but they have something that they can ride around and be proud of, great. You've done a service to the motorcycle community. So there you go. You guys like that answer?
I think it's perfect. So quit blubbering and get busy.
Get to work.
So
Get to work. I
got
want to hit
one.
that thing running by next week.
Get a big cup of Tim Hortons and go to town.
Yeah.
You know,
Ya hoser.
my favorite evening ever is some nice garlic fries and a Moosehead beer.
Mm.
Can't beat it.
Or
Yeah,
poutine,
Canuck
maybe.
beer. Moosehead beer.
Poutine.
Wonderful
Get some of that
stuff.
poutine, baby.
All right, I got one more email,
Yes.
and we need some advice on this one. He says, this is from Dave in Bend. He says, okay,
You
Liza.
sure it's not from Bending, Dave?
Yes. Says, okay, Liza, you're scaring the shit out of me.
Uh-oh.
In the last 2 episodes, you mentioned never buy a 90s BMW.
Uh-oh.
Well, I recently picked up a 97 R1100R with hard cases, crash
Arr.
bars, custom seat, BMW windshield with only 21,000 miles for $3,250. It is immaculate, handles great, and it's the less common Arctic Green. No typical surge, and the 5 speeds aren't affected by the clutch spline issue. Did I make an error in judgment? I know the old saying that there's nothing more expensive than a cheap BMW. I'm sure you and Emma have an opinion on this, and oh yeah, get well, knock.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
Appreciate it.
yeah, we have said don't buy a 90s BMW.
You said that.
I said that. And I'm a little concerned at the price that's paid, only because I think it's a ticking time bomb. You might get 3 months out of it. You might get 10 years out of it. You might get 50,000 miles out of it. You might get 500 miles out of it.
Yeah, but that's an analogy for life, darling. That's the same as life. What he needs to do is he needs to change the oil, pump up the tires, and get riding and enjoy it. And just understand that he's riding a stately old Teutonic girl and treat her like the German Queen Mother, and he's going to have years of enjoyment out of that thing. Years.
The thing about these BMWs is I find that they're great for high mileage, but not great for long years.
Right.
And while it's running good, put as many miles on it as you can. You can run those things up to 200,000 miles. I mean, they're a great bike. But when something goes bad, it may be an expensive fix.
Well,
That's the thing.
And the thing, too, is that this bike is low miles, which means it's probably sat for a long time. And from what I remember you were talking about these is that the electrical system is the weak point. And a bike that's sitting, especially and he's in Bend, so there's a lot of moisture up there, that can wreak havoc on electrical connections over time.
He'll be fine. And if I could remind you that John Dalton has been running that 1200C on a complete shoestring and has done some quite complex issues for no money at all and minimum effort, including doing the shaft seals in the transmission, the shaft seal in the final drive unit. He's never had any electrical fault problems with it. And that thing's a 98. So, I mean, any complex bike
Yeah, it's just
can have complex problems.
That's the thing. These bikes were made for high mileage. I remember on my 96 R1100 RT, I had to change the battery. Emma, have you changed the battery on one of these before?
Yeah.
You have to take off almost all of the bodywork, and then you have to pull the air box out to get to the to the battery. Like, it wasn't simple. That's because this thing is designed for ergonomics and aerodynamics. I mean, it's an immaculate machine, which means it's not made for easy access and quick repairs.
Right.
It's made for sending it to the dealership and having them deal with it.
That is true. But, I like my Jags. Everybody knows I love my Jags as well as my bikes. And Jags are very, very complex cars. And when a Jag goes wrong, oh my God, a Jag can go really wrong. It'll turn your hair gray.
Lucas, Prince of Darkness.
The thing is, it's the same principle as this bike. Whenever I start getting scared about my Jag and thinking, what could go wrong? I think, so what? It's a $4,000 car. It doesn't look like a $4,000 car, but it's a $4,000 car. If the worst happens, I can, and it's not going to be the end of the world. $3,500 is a chunk of money, but let's be honest with you here. It's not a massive amount of money. It's not even going to get you halfway to a new 250. So my advice to him, ride it, enjoy it, stack the odds in your favor, make sure the tires are fresh and have got air in them, make sure the oil's fresh, keep on top of it, and just ride the crap out of it and enjoy it. It's not a high dollar bike.
You can definitely just keep tabs on what you're spending on it, and then like Emma said, enjoy it as much as you can, and when you reach a point where I don't want to put any more money into it, and it's not a big deal to get rid of,
The same thing. The same thing will kill his bike that's going to kill my Jag. Is that the engine's going to be great, the transmission's going to be great, there's going to be a small electrical component that goes bad.
And that's the heartbreak. That's the heartbreak.
Yeah, the
all
heartbreak
the
and the love
used
is what's gonna kill
supply will have been dried up, and you're just going to look at it and you're going to say, do I want to spend $3,000 on an electrical box the size of a packet of cigarettes? And then you say yes or no. It's as simple as that.
And this is what I've seen happen.
You can get caught out like that with cheaper bikes. I did Bagel a killer deal on a Honda CT 110, and Bagel fell into the trap.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, Bagel, this thing is a breaker. Break it.
But
it's a parts bike for your passport. And Bagel was, but it's too good to part out.
Yes.
Which is what everyone up to that point has been doing. It is not too good to part it out. It's a part outer.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Sadly.
And some bikes are like that.
But see, and I think that is the pitfall, because a lot of people who have a BMW, they take care of it. They keep it clean. They keep it indoors. You don't see many roached out old BMWs. But what you see is a well-maintained, with good condition, with some catastrophic seal or box or something. Oh, all you got to do is replace this bearing seal or something, but that will cost the value of the bike to replace.
Right.
Now you're like, oh, but it's such a good looking bike and everything's fine with it. Is it worth the investment? And then when you've done it, you have an old bike that you've spent as much in as you would have for like a 7-year-old, Kawasaki Versys that can.
But you know what? All bikes are going that way now.
Yeah.
Every single bike on the road is going that way. Would you like to know how much an ECU for your Africa Twin is?
$1,000, 800, 7.
Oh, keep going.
Really?
$3,000.
Oh my God! Really?
Wow.
Oh, because ABS and all that gnarliness is tied to it.
There you go.
There's everything.
So it's okay now because it's a $10,000 bike.
Yeah.
So the maths is clear.
All right, so Emma, how about this? Let's do him a favor. Are there any components on that bike that might go wrong, like an ABS spring, something like that he should be keeping an eye out for and collect along the way if he finds one at the right price?
Look, it's the same rules that apply to his bike as applies to every single bike on the road. Keep the oil changed. Look after the engine. Don't baby it along with a shitty battery.
And
if you think the battery's going, replace it. And don't put a frigging dime store battery in it.
And ride it.
Ride it. Use decent components. What do decent components mean? Good quality oil, genuine filters, BMW owned brand batteries or Exide Yuasas, whatever BMW specify as a battery. That's how you protect the charging system on a bike. People run into problems because they put these crappy AutoZone batteries on their bikes and the charging system's like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
and then you start getting voltage spikes, and that takes out the ABS unit and takes out the ECU and takes out the reg-rec and fries your alternator. And yes, there are design faults in that bike. There are design faults in every single bike on the road.
And the more complex you make it, the more
yeah,
there are for
exactly.
faults.
I lost count in the early 90s of the amount of Honda CBR 1000 Hurricanes that came into my shop. The most gorgeous bikes with just cam chain noise that would make your hair stand on end. And Honda updated that cam chain tensioner 7 or 8 times, and they never got it right.
Oof.
Mhm.
You know?
Wow.
And it was just a fault of the bike. And, you know, if you had a CBR 1000 Hurricane, you had the Long Distance Tourer Deluxe. I mean, they're wonderful things to ride. But they're either, the cam chains are either rattling or they're about to rattle. And it's as simple as that. Talk about Suzuki charging systems. You know, Suzuki haven't made a decent charging system in 50 years. Why start now? I actually had a Gixxer 750 come down to the shop a month ago with the reg-rec on fire.
Yeah.
It was actually on fire. And the
Wow.
guy said, "This smells funny." And I'm like, yeah, it's on fucking fire.
You let the smoke out.
I think it's a conspiracy between Honda and Suzuki and Big Reg-Rec.
Oh, God.
The reg-rec cartel.
So, you know,
Yeah.
all bikes have got faults. You know, wouldn't it be great if bikes were perfect like us humans?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we're all perfect, right?
Right. That's why we make perfect bikes.
No, you know, I
we're
like
way more reliable.
BMWs, but you know, it's you're dealing yourself a deck of cards. Unless you're buying a brand new bike with a warranty, you're still not off the cards. Because let me tell you something: if you go into a dealership and you throw 25, 30 grand on your brand new BMW, you would better have it serviced on schedule if you want that warranty. And that's going to cost you probably more than our friend paid for his bloody bike in the first place. So you pay your money and take your choice.
Easily.
That reminds me of that joke, you know, that BMW joke. What's the cheapest part on the BMW motorcycle? It's the owner.
Yes. And the same applies to Ducati owners. I've never met a cheaper bunch. But, you know, it is what it is. He's riding a $3,000 bike, and $3,000 is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But let's put this into perspective. Go down your dealership with $3,000 in your pocket and see what you can ride out there with.
Yeah, for sure.
A KLR.
Nothing. What?
Yeah,
KLR.
You can't even get a KLR for $3,000. KLRs are $5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, no, used one. You can.
No, I'm talking about $3,000. Yeah, a used one.
Yeah.
Used $3,000 gets you a lot. But it's not even going to buy you a new monkey bike. It's not even going to buy you a new Grom.
Nope.
And he's riding a bike that you could potentially ride across America.
You get a Benelli.
Might get you a small Kimco.
Yeah, I know. All right, Emma, simmer down, simmer down. We're not attacking BMWs. I'm just attacking high-tech advanced bikes that get aged.
Well,
And
that's going to be
fix. That's it.
every bike made in the last 6 or 7 years, with the exception of KLR 650s.
So you're telling me I got about 12 years before I got to sell my Africa Twin.
You know, in 12 years' time, I'm not entirely sure whether you, or certainly I, am going to be speaking coherently. I think I'll be drooling down my shirt in the corner of some old people's home in 12 years' time.
Well, that may be true, but I can tell you what I'm going to be doing August 14th through 16th.
Oh, tell me.
I'm going to be watching the Black Hills Moto Film Festival like you guys.
Oh, call the blimies.
Indeed.
Yeah, so hey, this is just a reminder that my next venture, the Black Hills Moto Film Festival, is happening August 14th through 16th. It's going to be 3 days of films that we're going to be posting. And this is an online event, and better yet, it is free.
Sweet.
What do you say? Free. That is true.
What?
So, yeah, because
Well,
of
that's a
COVID-
number between 2 and 4, isn't it? If you're in London. What? Hey,
Right.
what? It's free, isn't it? It's like 2, 3, 4.
So, but you still have to get a ticket to attend this event. It's going to be hosted on YouTube, so you have to have a ticket so you can get access to it. But if you go to Rev Sisters, R-E-V, revsisters.com, and you can click on Film Festival, then click on tickets, and you can get a ticket to this event. And we've been working hard at curating it. I think last week you guys saw the trailer that I created, a little blend of some of the movies. I'm going to make another one. But we got cool stuff. We got really good stuff.
Yeah.
And we keep getting new submissions. It's like, whoa, it's getting harder and harder to decide. We've got films.
Yeah.
We've got films from Moin Khan.
Oh, wow.
We've got films from The Handsome Asians.
Did you say how many films there are? Or what's the cap on it again? I think I asked the last time. You guys weren't sure yet.
Well, it's not about how many, it's how many minutes. Because we have everything from
got it. Okay,
little short films to full length, from like 5 minutes to 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So we've got so many great submissions. We're having to, it's a good problem to have too many good films to choose from.
For sure.
And it's going to be a blend of everything you can imagine, from scooters and travel to adventure riding to dirt riding to historical to hooligans, everything, custom builders. Yeah, we're excited. So again, go to revsisters.com and you can find your tickets, free tickets there. Nak, I wanted to ask you real quick before we bump out of here.
Yeah.
How's your project going? You haven't been working on your project, have you?
No, I haven't. I still need to change the steering head bearing on the green bike, which what I was planning to do until I got in this whole situation. But as far as projects go, they've been on hold since the whole furlough at work thing, and so yeah. I mean, like that one bike that I bought from Rich.
Yeah, you got that Versus project.
Yeah, it's still sitting there. I have a front end that I could use temporarily as a roller to make it into a rolling chassis, but I still need a swing arm. And I've been looking on eBay to get myself a cheap swing arm. Yeah.
Emma, you got a line on a Versus swing arm?
I don't. Has that got upside down forks on it, or conventional ones not?
OEM upside down forks, but they fit.
Because I've got a set of 41mm triple trees that are yours for free if you want them.
Well, I actually have a ZX6R front end that I have. So.
Oh, okay.
They have the same steering head bearing dimensions as the Versys. So.
And the length. Well, it's going to sit kind of nose down, isn't it? Because they're shorter, aren't they?
Yeah, they are shorter, but I believe you could drop the forks a little further down and raise it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, like the Versus is a taller bike, and it's definitely, once it's assembled, going to turn a lot faster. But at that point, we'll have to figure something out, So
well, could you lower the rear an inch or so to help balance it out?
I could. Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah. You could
and then sell it to a short person. So look, I've already lowered it for you.
Yeah.
Well, I have got like concept sketches and drawings while I was during this whole Rona thing where I downloaded like Illustrator and whatever and design programs or just messing with it. So
it's kind of hard working out dimensions because
it is
the Trident. I've kind of got it sitting on a stand, and I'm trying to get it sitting kind of where I want and trying to figure out how long a forks I need for it. Because I originally was going to use katana forks, but I think they're going to be too short, so I'll probably have to put bandit forks on it.
Like the bike that I have is a complete basket case that's completely disassembled, so I couldn't take the frame out, take a photo of it, and and do some scaling. So I went online and just found some photos of that bike, and I
then just did some measuring based on
Yep, I just scaled the front wheels to 17, and then just did that and got a rough number of what they'd actually be, or the drawings would be.
Yeah, good. No, it'll come out all right.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
Well, cool. And then one last thing I wanted to share with everyone. Bagel and I did a little adventure yesterday to the town dump.
Yeah.
We had to go.
Oh, you went to the dump. You should have said something. I got a bunch of dead ass tires, man.
Yeah, you
No.
should have said something. Yeah, I had a bunch of tires here and just cleaning up. So we did a little dump run, and boy, it is so hard not to come back with more stuff than what I did.
It's the best place to go shopping for free.
Yeah.
Dude, I just a reminder for people out there, if you have not been to your dump, you need to go check it out. It is a wonderland.
Yeah, there was a big ass generator out there that turned. I was tempted to take that, but I don't have a need for it right now. So
yeah, one of those big generators in the frame with the gas tank on top, and it looks like it just been living outside, but it turned and everything was there.
Yeah,
I think somebody just like, we don't need this anymore.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of that that high end chrome kitchens, professional kitchen shelving. There was
the shelving units, that slide down the
poles, but it was kind of buried, so it was hard.
They
to get
threw
that
it in and bent some of the legs.
Yeah,
but you could have
pulled
4 good legs out. Yeah, exactly. But the great thing that I did get from there is we found these 4 shop stools, all metal shop stools with big solid feet on the bottom and a wooden top. And you can't bend these things. You can throw them. You can't bend them. They're solid.
These are like the kind of stools that you had in metal shop class.
I think they come from a school metal shop or something.
Right.
And they're just tossed into the metal pile.
Yep.
These are perfectly good stools.
Yeah, nothing wrong with them. Just some wear.
Nothing wrong.
You see, I see them as a drunk Emma in a cocktail dress stool.
So that's it. I just want to remind people, hey, if you haven't been and you want a little project, or you're looking for parts or yard art or just whatever, or you want to tinker, because we're all tinkerers. It was hard not to bring that generator back because it looked like we definitely could have got that running.
Oh, totally.
You could have got that copper coils out of those, That's probably worth money.
Take a trip to your town dump, and the big secret here in Santa Cruz, our town dump is on some of the best real estate, and it's up on the hill with amazing views of the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you say that it used to be a motocross track at one point?
No, a road racing track.
Road racing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it had a history as a road racing track.
Wild.
One more thing, too, in terms of actually going out and visiting your dump, you should also know where the fuck your trash and your waste goes.
Yeah.
It's an important, forgive me if I sound like a fucking hippie, with a cycle, how the cycle works, you know what I mean? It doesn't just disappear. It goes somewhere,
it goes to a place and it sits there and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were so many things thrown away that were perfectly good. I don't understand why people don't drop them off at Salvation Army. There was that nice metal, looked like a plant stand, not bent, no nothing. It was all nice. I mean, there was a bicycle one. I'm like, I almost dragged a bicycle out. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, but the other cool thing about the Santa Cruz one, which I think is pretty unique, is the surfboard collection they have there.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very
non-recyclable materials.
Collection.
Yeah, all cracked and waterlogged.
So that's it. Go visit the dump. You never know what you're going to find.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the last thing is a big shout out and thanks again to all of our Patreon supporters. I have one shirt left for the free Patreon shirt. It is a large. So I might have to do another batch or something. I don't know. I have to come up with something. I was actually thinking of making some buffs. What do you guys think?
How about some masks?
Well, buffs can be used as a mask. Yeah.
That's true.
No, buffs.
Well, are you going to release it sometime in the summer? It'd be pretty cool to have some kind of summer-related item. Winter, would be cool to have buffs, but summer, what do you think? Sunglasses, hats?
Maybe one of those lightweight buffs for summer, and for winter, a more thicker, kind of fleecy type of buff, maybe.
A hanky or something?
I've actually been working on something that I thought would be really helpful for summer. keep it a secret. I might be bringing this out for Jim on our trip in 2 weeks. You know how he's so worried about all the heat we're going to run into in like Utah and stuff. So I've been working on this thing, and it's basically it's a little bag on a long string, and you fill it with ice, and you tie it around your waist, and you let it just dangle down to your balls. And it's a ball cooler for men, because that seems to be the biggest concern when you're going riding.
No.
Your balls getting hot and sticky. And if you can keep your balls cool, then you can ride comfortably. What do you think?
It's not about the temperature, it's about the moisture, and that would make it worse.
Oh, okay. I think
I'm glad this is still within the realm of like tennis balls and inner tube cut in half. It's that kind of like sophistication.
I'll keep working on my ball cooler. That's an idea.
You go get yourself some medicated fucking talcum powder, some of that mint shit.
Just not make sure it's not that Johnson & Johnson shit though.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So you guys got any big plans this week?
No, man. Maybe start doing push-ups, you know.
Stay low, stay safe.
I'm going to put a tire on this.
Yeah. Put your goddamn masks on, dickheads. Put your goddamn masks on.
Yeah, you know,
Yes,
let's just
please.
take this last second to say, hey, we know we've been having a huge surge everywhere. Florida, I mean, watch out. They've been having like 9,000 new cases a day. Texas, California is so bad.
Yeah.
I had
Southern California.
Bagel. I don't know if did you meet Mukhtar in Pakistan? He was one of our drivers.
I don't think so.
He's been seeing the news about California and all the Rona and the looting and the riots, and he messaged me to make sure I was okay.
Yeah, well, it's cause for concern, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, and I got to say that I can't emphasize enough how important it is for everybody to please distance yourselves, isolate yourselves, wear masks, because there is nothing that's keeping us safe right now other than that. This is a nasty, nasty disease, and what our governments are telling us is not adequate. And we got to take this into our own hands and be as safe as we can to get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I know we're getting different information from all different sides, and it's hard to know who to believe. So hopefully you'll just take, our advice in that we just want you to be safe.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is just wear a mask.
We want you to be alive to write us hate mail.
What? No.
What?
No.
Right?
No hate mail.
Speak for yourself, Knock.
All right. I think it's official. Thank you, everyone, for putting the tagline, Get Better, Knock. I think we can now go back to the fuck you, Knock.
Yeah. Yeah, go and save a whale, you hippie.
Yeah, I was really, I was like, my ego was riding high for people saying I should get well. I should just put me back down a few pegs, huh?
All right, I think we're ready to wrap up. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. And if you would like to send Knox some hate mail, you can send it to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to check out our Misfits videos on YouTube, MISSFITS. You'll find it under the Recycle Santa Cruz.
You're going to drop a new one on Tuesday, you said?
I believe Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. And it's a nice and long one.
And
So sorry.
that I hope you have as much fun watching them as we did making them. I think you will.
Yeah. Actually, on this one, I put a little present at the very end. Bagel and Emma know what it is.
It's like a Marvel movie. There's a post-credits end scene. Is that where you guys are eating shawarma or something? Or what?
You'll see. You'll see. It's a little present. All right. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
Emma, darling.
Hey.
And we're out of here.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks.